Are you skeptical of electric vehicles? Do you think they're needed to avoid a climate catastrophe? Perhaps you think electoral calculations will decide the future of the car industry? Welcome to today's free discourse video. Today, we're going to examine one of the most hotly debated topics in American politics, the future of the automotive industry. At the heart of this debate lies President Biden's bold plan to transition the majority of petrol-powered cars to electric vehicles by 2032. But as with any significant policy shift, this move has sparked controversy and raised critical questions about its feasibility and consequences. So, let's consider this in more depth and address two fundamental questions. What are the implications of Biden's plan for the American car industry, and how does it interact with the broader climate change agenda? Firstly, let's consider the impact of President Biden's proposal on the American car industry. With the goal of significantly reducing planet-warming gases, the administration aims to enforce the strictest regulations on vehicle exhaust emissions ever introduced in the U.S. This includes targeting 56% of all new vehicles sold to be electric by 2032, a monumental increase from current levels. However, this ambitious goal has faced pushback from car manufacturers and political opponents, who argue that such rapid transformation could harm the industry and consumer choice. It remains to be seen how Biden's plan might try to strike a balance between environmental objectives and economic concerns, particularly in key battleground states like Michigan. Secondly, let's explore how Biden's policy aligns with the broader climate change agenda and the challenges it presents. While environmental groups have broadly welcomed the measure, some activists are disappointed that it didn't go further. The policy highlights the political tightrope President Biden must walk as he seeks to address climate change while appealing to car workers and voters in crucial swing states. Meanwhile, opponents, including former President Trump and Republican lawmakers, have been very critical of the plan, labeling it as radical and anti-energy. It's clear that the debate surrounding the future of American cars is far from over. With legal challenges looming and strong views on both sides, the path forward seems uncertain. But one thing does seem clear: the decisions made today will shape the landscape of American transportation for generations to come. But what are the public likely to think about this? At the Free Discourse channel, we value the views of everyone and hope that our videos help you to formulate your own opinions. So, let's think about what views the public will hold on the possible transition to electric vehicles. Many will be skeptical and have concerns around President Biden's plan to transition the majority of cars to electric vehicles by 2032. They would argue that such a rapid shift could pose significant challenges for both consumers and the automotive industry. They would also highlight the practical limitations of EVs, including range anxiety, higher insurance and repair costs, and the lack of charging infrastructure, particularly in rural areas. On top of this, they would question the feasibility of Biden's proposal in a country as vast as the United States, where long-distance travel is common and population density varies widely. Overall, this perspective would emphasize the potential economic and logistical hurdles associated with mandating EV adoption, suggesting that Biden's plan may be too ambitious to succeed. In contrast, some would say President Biden's ambitious plan is a necessary step toward combating climate change and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. They would argue that transitioning to EVs aligns with broader efforts to achieve environmental sustainability and mitigate the impacts of global warming. They would see an urgent need to address the climate crisis, pointing to the consensus among scientists and international agreements to curb carbon dioxide emissions. Supporters of Biden's proposal will view it as a crucial measure to fulfill America's commitment to combating climate change and transitioning to cleaner forms of transportation, despite the potential challenges and resistance it may face. Another perspective in the debate focuses on the political implications of President Biden's plan, particularly in the context of the upcoming election. Some observers will suggest that Biden's proposal could have significant electoral consequences, especially in key swing states and among certain demographics. They would say that mandating EV adoption may alienate voters, particularly those in blue-collar and rural communities, who rely heavily on traditional petrol-powered vehicles. They will warn that Biden's plan risks being perceived as out of touch with the concerns and preferences of average Americans, potentially jeopardizing his electoral prospects. However, others would probably say that Biden's commitment to addressing climate change could resonate positively with environmentally conscious voters and strengthen his support among progressive constituencies. So, what do you think? In considering President Biden's plan to transition most cars to electric vehicles by 2032, it's clear that differing opinions emerge. Skeptics will emphasize practical challenges and economic implications, such as range anxiety and infrastructure limitations. Conversely, supporters will stress the urgency of combating climate change, framing EV transition as vital for environmental sustainability. But there are critics who will caution that the plan might alienate certain voters, especially in key swing states, due to reliance on traditional petrol-powered vehicles. There are also proponents who would argue that Biden's climate commitment could resonate positively with environmentally conscious voters, potentially bolstering support among progressive groups. So, where do you stand on the issue? Do you align more with the skeptics, expressing concerns about the practical challenges and economic implications of transitioning to EVs? Or do you find yourself in agreement with the supporters, emphasizing the importance of combating climate change and embracing cleaner forms of transportation? I hope this free discourse video has helped you to understand this topic more clearly. If so, don't forget to like the video and consider subscribing for regular updates on the most important of world affairs.